Thank you for staying with us. Now, Nigeria is set to unveil its largest aviation fuel depot, which spans 46,000 square meters and boasts a storage capacity of 50 million liters. The commissioning is to be flagged off by the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Mr. Festus Keyamo, SAN, and the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Senator Heineken Lokpobiri, on October the 17th, 2024. Now, the JUHI-2 facility is expected to meet the fuel demands of various flight operations, including domestic, international, cargo, and business jets. It is also expected to provide fuel to nearby air bases like MMA-1, as the Multan Mohammed International Airport 1, and MMA-2, while generating employment, boosting local economic growth, and contributing to the development of the aviation sector. Joining us in the studio is an aviation expert and also the aviation editor with the New Telegraph newspaper, Wale Shadari. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, some will wonder, what's with this, or what does this mean for the industry? How would this improve the efficiency or transform the aviation sector in total?
Thank you very much. I think this is going to be the second depot we're going to have, because we have the JUI-1, the Joint User Hydrant Installation, which is there. What it means is that to cut the first shortage and for airlines to be able to get fuel as at when due, all the marketers come together to use a joint facility to store their aviation fuel, or what you call jets, A1 or jet fuel. So they do that to make very easy for airlines to get their aviation fuel. And maybe tomorrow we're going to have the biggest, which shows that we're going to have 2 depots, but this is going to be the biggest. Yeah. I think one thing is going to do, the most important thing is going to do, is to ensure that there's a regular supply of jet fuel to the airlines. And again, the international airlines can also come, land in Nigeria, and refuel before going. So it's going to be a big one for the aviation industry, in the sense that I don't think we're going to get that type of scarcity that we used to have before now. And the airlines will also be able to get their fuel at the real market price. So it's going to be a good one. It's just business for the oil marketers. And
so we are looking at forex.
Also. Yeah, we are looking at forex too. And it's going to be also cheaper, because in the past, when we used to have a scarcity of jet fuel that has the capacity or capability of grounding airlines, and you know, if an airline does not operate for 1 hour, you know, they are going to lose enormous revenue. So we're not going to have that type of, there won't be excuse that we're going to have scarcity of jet fuel now. Again, because of the Dangote refinery, we have eliminated certain things like cost of importation, landing cost, and all sorts. So it's going to be cheaper. We're going to get aviation fuel, and the marketers are also going to be in business, because if it's cheaper here, I bet you most of the foreign airlines will come here to refuel their aircraft.
Interesting stuff. I need to understand further how this depot really works. You know, the current one that we have, and then this bigger one that is, you know, coming up, because it's a consortium of energy companies, you know, comprising of Techno Oil, Quest Oil, Rahmaniya, Ibaf Oil, you know, etc. How do you think they will all come together to ensure, first and foremost, where is this oil going to come from before they put it in a large depot? And then what impact do you think this would have on the cost of air tickets for passengers and the kind of infrastructure they are putting on the ground? Is it just a way that's something that we can replicate in other places in terms of infrastructure? Yes,
we can replicate it in other places, but you know, aviation, Lagos is the hub of aviation in Nigeria. So 80% of all the air travel in Nigeria emanates from Lagos. So if you take care of Lagos, you've taken care of so many things, air travel in Nigeria. Then the JUI is just like a partnership between oil marketers. You bring your fuel I bring my own, we dump them somewhere, rather than going to Dangote refinery to bring it directly.
If they are dumping, bring your own, bring my own, we dump them somewhere. Is it going to be of the same quality? Because we also talk about
definitely it's going to, no. The aviation fuel quality is the same. And since they are taken from the same source, I'm going to take from this source and I'm going to take from this source. And the Dangote refinery has been adjudged to be one of the best in terms of the quality, in terms of size and everything. So they are taken from a source which has been certified. The aviation jet fuel is very, very sensitive. It goes through a lot of calibration, a lot of tests. So you are not just bringing jet fuel everywhere. It has regulation on it, how to test it to make sure that you are putting the right quality inside your airplane. So since they are bringing it from the same source that has been certified, what they do is just like we have a bucket here. You bring your bucket of water, I bring my own bucket of water, we pour it there, we store it there. When we need it, we begin to dispense from the airport to the aircraft instead of taking it directly from there, which will cause a lot of logistic problems. So that is exactly what they have done, which is good. And that is why we have said partnership is very, very good in the aviation industry or anywhere. The area where you want to do it alone can no longer work. So what they do is to collaborate and to make it easier for them to manage whatever they need to manage. So asking if it will impact on air ticket, it should, but aviation fuel is not only the problem airlines battle with. They have multiple taxation, they have a lot of cost of operation is very, very high in this climate. So it's just one component of it. Yes, I agree that jet fuel takes about 40–45% of airlines' revenue all over the world. So if you reduce jet fuel, and you also need to make reduction in some other places, look at multiple taxation, and if you're able to do all these things, if the government steps in, I think we begin to see reduction in air ticket. But for now, reduction in jet fuel price is not enough to bring down the
significant impact on the price of
and there are also so many things. The airlines are going through shortage of aircraft. Their forex too is also a very big problem. So that alone does not take care of most of the challenges that we face in the aviation industry.
But will you address the matter of your flight being rescheduled as
yes,
as much
it will
as
have
possible?
Yes, it will have significant impact in the sense that the airlines have always complained that the delays you see, the cancellations you see, is as a result of lack of jet fuel. But most of them are not telling us the truth. Most of them are cash trapped because they owe the marketers a lot of money. So what the marketers are doing is that they do pay as you go. So they source for money from the passenger to go and get fuel, like the Bolekaja, I'm sorry to say, we shouldn't be allowed in the aviation industry. I think this will also address some of those problems, because we also have problems of infrastructure. We don't have enough infrastructure. The boarding gates are very small, and I believe the current management of FAN is doing a lot to make sure that some of this infrastructure are provided at the airport. So that alone will not also solve the problem. So it has to work in synergy. We need to do things very well before we begin to see significant, but it's going to actually solve that problem, because they won't have to wait for so long to get their fuel like what we used to have before. So it's a good thing in the right direction, but we hope that other factors will come to play for us to begin to see that change we desire in the aviation industry.
All right. I wanted you to expatiate on this matter of the Bolekaja a scenario that you painted. I'm wondering how we got to that point where airlines are now being as cash strapped, such that they would want to, collect the monies from customers to get, the fuel, and then we can now move.
Yes.
How did we get there?
We got there a long time ago, so many times. The problems we are having in the industry just didn't start now. Is the accumulation of this problem that we decided not to work on we managed it until it blew in our faces.
Right.
So the Bolekaja thing, if you remember, there was a time the Minister of Aviation at the time came out to say the airlines were owing over 40-something billion or 50 billion naira to the various agencies. So they were not paying their navigational charges. They were not paying all the fees that they were supposed to pay. They were owing the government a lot of money. So, and also government needed a lot of money to provide the infrastructure to do things. It's because the revenue they generate from the industry is also what they should plow back to the industry. So they now decided to say, okay, we're not going to offer you service until you pay as you go. What it means is that the old debts are there, but we don't want to accumulate this debt. What we want to do is let's have that debt there. Let us not increase it. So, but pay us the new charges, the new fee, and then we allow you to fly. So when it got to that stage, the oil marketers also felt that the airlines were owing them so much money because they used to give them products upfront. So they realized that what they were owing them was more than 60 billion naira. And they felt, we can't continue to be in this business. If these airlines go pack up, how are we going to recover our money? So they now started, they now asked them to pay as you go. If you want us to give you fuel, you have to pay us for us to give you certain amount of jet fuel. So, and because they didn't have money, so they now started doing delayed tactics of, collecting the money and getting the fuel. It was so rampant between 2013 and 2014, even till 2015. It was rampant then that airlines couldn't even pay for their fuel because they had a lot of debts. So we got to that level. I think that has remained to this day, that the airlines, have to pay them before they fly. So they need to get this money. What we see outside is quite different from what we see from within. We see the airline business as very lucrative. It's not actually lucrative. It's, the margin of profit is even less than 2%. Everything is dollarized. The airlines have to pay for their crew. They have to pay for the aircraft they use. 90% of the aircraft they use is not theirs. They are on wet lease, and wet lease is highly, highly capital intensive. So that brought us to where we started saying the airlines were doing bolekaja. And I don't think that has also stopped. It's just that maybe the airlines are getting money from somewhere to make sure that that problem is resolved or reduced. So that was how we got to bolekaja, that you have to pay before they offer you their products. So that was where we are today. But I think things are gradually changing, but the airlines are still in serious trouble. It's not easy. And that is why when you go to the airport today, how many people are able to fly? Yes, the number has dropped, because if you also look at the economy has not also helped people. If you go to the airport, you want to go to Abuja, you can hardly seize it. Not because the airlines are busy, but because there's shortage of aircraft. They can't bring their aircraft as a result of Forex. Like I said, aviation is highly capital intensive. Not only is it capital intensive, it's highly dollarized. Everything you buy in aviation is the dollar. So are they getting the Forex? The answer is no. But things have things have improved a bit, in the sense that you can get your Forex, is the open window. So you just
interesting stuff. Get your money. I'm hearing this for the first time when you said the airlines are not as lucrative as we've seen it. Is it in this part of the world?
No, it's not in this part of the world.
It's everywhere.
What has happened is everywhere. What has happened is that outside this country, in the United States and UK and other developed countries, the government has been very, very kind to them. And airlines can buy aircraft at 0% interest rate. They don't even pay. They spread this payment over a long period of time. But we do not have that facility. If you go to the bank, how can a business thrive under 30% interest rate, 25% interest rate. It's not possible. But over there, they give you loan at even less than 1%. So airlines can thrive. And because their aviation is developed, in Nigeria, our aviation is weak, small, and fragmented. So we cannot compare our aviation because our aviation is not there compared to what you have over there. In fact, our biggest airline in Nigeria cannot, and I repeat, cannot even compete with the smallest airline in Europe. So that shows you the big shift, the gap between us and them.
On top of that,
aviation is even alien to us, if I may say. We're just trying our best, and we hope we'll get there.
But it's often said that we have a huge traffic in this part of the world, yet we are not seemingly looking in that direction to develop aviation as much as possible, and that's the concern that I'd like for you to address. But how can the government come in? We are seemingly at a spot right now, and something needs to be done. Absolutely. Because this is part of what helps our economy, whether we like it or not.
Absolutely.
Right.
If you look at the market, Nigeria is a very big market. But the irony of it is that we are not taking advantage of this market. Others are taking advantage of this market because we do not have the capacity to reciprocate some of these or many of these bilateral air services agreements that we have. It's not the fault of the airline. It's not the fault of anybody, but it's a collective problem. In the sense that Nigerians love to travel, and a lot of foreign airlines are coming into this country. We have bilateral air services agreement with so many countries, but we've not been, even the London route, we've not been able to take a significant chunk of the market because a local airline that is doing Lagos to London is doing point to point. And I tell you, the number of people you see on British Airways, Virgin Atlantic, are going beyond London. So if you're doing point to point, it means that you cannot pick passengers beyond London. Many people you see on those airlines that I've mentioned are going beyond London, going to US, so they have developed a hub that is very strong. So when they bring people into that hub, they distribute. So we have not had that type of hub system, a very strong hub system that we can do. And we do not even have the money to compete with this airline. Yes, we're trying our best, but how good is our best? So you see that, yes, a lot of Nigerians travel. If you enter most of these foreign airlines, it's only in Nigeria that I see that if you're traveling from here to Frankfurt, 80% of the passengers are Nigerians. If you're traveling from here to New York, 90% of the passengers are Nigerians. What does it tell you? Nigerians are feeding these foreign airlines. It's like you are thirsty in the midst of water. So it tells you that our policies have to change. Yes, I agree that the Minister of Aviation is doing his best. He has really tried his best to make sure that the bilateral air services agreements are reciprocated. But how can you do that when our airlines are not willing? You can't force an airline to say, you must go to this place, you must go to this place. It has to be convinced that it's ready to do that. But at the moment, we are not there. We're not there. So it's like the foreign people coming here to take all the things that we have. Ethiopian Airlines is coming here to take what we have. The Kenyan Airlines are coming here to take all the airlines because they've seen Nigeria as a very huge market. A population of over 200 million people.
That's right.
Is a huge market anywhere in the world.
Absolutely.
On top
So
of that,
even domestically too, we are not also taking advantage of that. If you look at the traffic figure last year, I think the traffic figure both for international and is less than 20 million. What it shows you is that less than 10, or let's say just 10% of the population are even traveling. So what it also means is that if you look at a country like Dubai, Dubai is a country of less than 4 million people. But every year, the people that visit Dubai are more than 80 million people. If you spend just $5 in Dubai, then multiply it by 80 million. And that is why Emirates is doing very well. And that is why the economy is doing very well, because UAE has positioned Dubai as a destination, a choice for a lot of
tourism,
people. So they are deliberate about what they are doing. They knew what they wanted to do, and they are now using tourism as a major revenue earner for the country.
I love the word you use. Okay. Land on
no, it's heartbreaking.
When you say they are deliberate about
what they are deliberate about it. They didn't just wake up and say, this is what we want to do. But in our country, we just wish it. We want to be like Dubai. We want to be.
And do you not feel that's a function of, the change in government, especially when you have a party, not relinquishing, but losing the seat for another person to come in on the same platform? You have another party coming in, and then policy, somersault, and all of that, we are not able to follow through. Absolutely. This is what we want to do, because we always have Vision 2020, Vision 2030, and Vision, and we are not seeing the future.
You see, I've even lost interest in those Vision 20-something, Vision this, Vision that, because at the end of the day, we never even realize these visions. Look at Ethiopia. Ethiopia is deliberate about what they wanted to do. They gave a 20-year, 10-year plan. And before that time, they will tell you that they have even superseded that plan. It's a deliberate plan. No change in policy. Any government comes in, it continues with that policy. Or they can just tweak the policy a bit. So because
but the goal is
the goal is there. They know Ethiopia is building. They have, where they are using now is Bole International Airport. It's a very fantastic airport. But they've looked at it that in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, that airport will be so small for their operation. They are building an airport, I think about 50 kilometers away from Addis Ababa.
Wow.
Very big, that is going to be a very big hub for them. And use where they are using that as domestic terminal. So it shows you, and look at how that airline has grown. I'm very, very proud of Ethiopian Airlines. Whatever what everybody said about it, I've visited their maintenance facilities. Is one of the best in the world. It can compete with any airline in the world. So what are we talking about? They sat down and felt that this is what we want for our country. But here, the policy we have always have policy somersault. An administration comes in today, it starts with a project, the next thing...
They even abandon
it without even looking at it. What you would have done is take the good one out of it, then discard the one you feel that is not in the interest of Nigeria. So these are the things we have done over the years. And if we continue this way, I think this aviation industry will begin to sink, except we have a deliberate policy on how to get out of the woods. It's very simple. Where do we want to go in the next 10 years? The answer, I don't know. Where do we want to go in the next 20 years? There's no policy that shows that we want to get to our destination.
And the matter of credits is also crucial. Our government needs to address it.
Yes, government.
Interest rates and all.
Yes. No, you see, there are a lot of things that government needs to address. Government is grappling with a lot of things: road, aviation, health, education. But I believe that government should just take the few ones it feels that are very important, that can really, really give hope to a lot of people. Aviation is key. But do we even have the money to begin to provide infrastructure? The infrastructure deficit in our aviation industry is more than 2 trillion naira. Where's government going to get that? That's, I think, half of your budget. When you also have competing needs for health, for education.
Unfortunately.
So that is why
our time is up.
That government should partner with the private sector. Let them bring their money to put into some of these things. Government does not have business, like they say, in some businesses.
That's a fine place to leave this conversation. Wale Shadari, aviation editor with the New Telegraph. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, moving on. How can early diagnosis and management help address infertility? That will be the focus of our next conversation.